Hi everyone, welcome to my craft studio, or I should say craft room. Recently I made this card with an inking technique using our ink pads. So I thought I'd demonstrate the technique for you this afternoon. So this is one card where I've inked it, and then I've also inked some of the designer series paper from Artistry Blooms, stamped in black memento, and this was gold embossed. These two stamps are from the Curvy Christmas stamp set, which is currently available. So this is one card, and then this is in another colourway with Bermuda Bay and Misty Moonlight, and then again I have actually inked up the designer series paper, and this is another one where I've actually embossed the trees in copper. So this time I thought I would change the colourway again. I'll just show you a couple of other cards I made this with the pigment sprinkles, so it just shows you the difference. This is pigment sprinkles, which is on the clearance rack at the moment. So this is in Granny Apple Green and Bermuda Bay. This is with Mango Melody and Melon Mambo. And then this one is with ink on vellum with the Snowflakes Wishes dies. That's Gorgeous Grape, I think. And this one, I think, was Highland Heather and Pool Party. And here's another pigment. Hi, Anne. Good to see you. And here's a pigment sprinkles with Mango Melody mixed with Gorgeous Grape, which we did in my Stampin scrap. I do an online Stampin chat, it's called, on a Thursday evening, every other Thursday. So if you want to join that, then message me and I can send you a link to that. That's great fun because the ladies tell me what colours to use. You caught me live. Yes, you did, Anne. Yeah, good to see you. Okay, so there's that one. So let's get stuck in. So first of all, I want to introduce our new blending brushes, which are going to be in the January to June catalogue, which will be launched to customers on January the 3rd. So they're quite large actually. I did get some from, I've been using ones from Amazon before, but they're a little bit small, whereas these are larger and they're really nice, soft. They're not really bristles actually, but they're absolutely fabulous. So I'm going to have to get more because you get 3 in a pack. So this is going to be my blues, purples. This is going to be my reds, oranges. Probably the other one will be yellows. Then I'll need one for greens and so on and so forth. So I'm just going to show you the difference between using our inks, which are water-based, on Whisper White cardstock and on Shimmer White cardstock, and there is a bit of a difference. So I'm just going to take some Gorgeous Grape, and I'll just show you first of all on the Whisper White, which again it does blend very nicely indeed, very nice soft colour, but I think you'll find that it even blends better on the shimmer cardstock. Gets a better blend. So slightly darker, more ink comes off on the darker one. So I think I will use the shimmer cardstock today and see how we go. So the colours I've chosen are totally different from the ones that I had before. Yeah, I know, I bet you can't wait to order some December, Anne, for you, so that's good. Okay, I can just see the comments if I look. So I'm going to take Magenta Madness first of all. And one of my demonstrators very kindly suggested that I use my silicone mat as the base because you can rub some of the ink off and then come on. So just a light pressure to start with. You can always add more ink, but it's very hard to take it off. So can you see how smoothly that has blended absolutely beautifully? Smoothly on that. I'm just going to get the light so that hopefully you might be able to see that better. Okay, so that's my Magenta Madness, and then I'm going to take Gorgeous Grape, and again I'm going to rub off some of the colour and then come round from this side. Should really be wearing gloves for this actually, but now obviously I've got some sort of mark on that, probably a watermark or something like that. But anyway, let's just keep going and see how we go. So I want to keep, in fact I might put a latex glove on because I do tend to get very inky fingers. Don't really like having very inky fingers. It looks a bit odd when you go out shopping and you go and pay for your shopping and you've got this sort of purple finger or blue finger. I haven't had any shop assistants look at me askance yet, I have to say, thankfully. So I want to leave a bit of the pink, hopefully you can see that in the centre. And you can choose. So I'm using Gorgeous Grape. Now on one of the ones I did at my demonstrator team meeting on yesterday evening, I actually ended up doing I think it was pumpkin pie, and then I used cherry cobbler, and I ended up putting some Merry Merlot, which is a darker colour to cherry cobbler. So there I've got my gorgeous grape. I'm just going to put a bit more of the Magenta Madness now, because I want it to be overall that sort of pinky colour. And then I'm just going to grab from my carousel, I've still got one of those wonderful retired carousels for the old style ink pad. So here's my Blackberry Bliss, because I think that I would like to just get that ink pad out of the way, just put a bit of Blackberry Bliss on the edge, just to give a hint of extra darkness, see what it looks like. Could be a disaster, but I don't think so. I think it'll be all right. Let's see how we go. So it's covering a bit of the gorgeous grape, but it's giving that sort of hint of darkness that I wanted. So now, always whenever you're doing inking, I now have in my craft room a whole roll of kitchen roll, because I kept running out and having to rush to the kitchen to get some more. So I decided it was time I needed a whole roll. So I'm going to actually close up my ink pads, because otherwise ink could get everywhere, and I really don't want that. So only have fun if you have inky fingers. Well, I don't know, sometimes I just don't like having those inky fingers. So yeah, true. If you have inky fingers, it shows that you have been having fun, hopefully. So anyway, so I'm just cleaning off the best I can, because what happens is if I don't clean off this, then what I find is that I forget it's there. Just take a little bit of water. And then I put a white card down, and I end up getting ink all over the back of the white card, which is not very clever. So that's why I've decided I actually want to get rid of this. So what we're going to do now is we're going to actually, I'm just going to get rid of that for a moment. We're going to flick water on it. So for that, I need my aqua painter. I'm going to take the medium aqua painter in our aqua painters, and I've got a pot of water here permanent in my desk. And I'm just going to flick at the top. And then if I just take, I told you I'd need kitchen towel, another piece of kitchen towel ready. If I just flick with the water like this, and then put the kitchen towel straight over like that and dab it. Julie Kettlewell demonstrated this in her video doing this. You can see that it's come out, in fact that's come out sort of coppery. It probably will go a bit paler, but that's like a Milky Way or stars or whatever, so that's really nice, I think. Okay, now I'm going to grab my stamping mat, because, okay, top tip here coming out, when you are using the photopolymer stamp sets, you need a stamping mat underneath, because the photopolymer, it hasn't got a cushion to give it that extra stamp pressure. So here's a very lovely long curvy keepsakes stamp. Now I've got to decide, and interesting, like that's come out a bit copperish. I was going to stamp this in either black or silver. I'm wondering now about changing my mind. That's a bit dark. That was the colour I was going to use. I think I'll still use that. So I'm going to actually stamp the trees in Versamark. This is what I love about playing around with stamps. You just change your mind all the time. So I'm going to ink up, just make sure my stamp is stuck on the block, which is very important. So I'm going to stick it on, put that there. And the lovely thing is I could either choose to have the trees flat like that, or I can have them on a big slope or going that way. But do you know what? I quite like them this way, so I'm just going to put them down like that. Press firmly, so because I've got the sponge mat underneath, it takes some of the pressure, which is really good. So I've done that. I'm just going to cover my Versamark, and then I have got a little scrap of paper here, and I've got my silver embossing powder ready, and I'm just going to chuck that on. What I didn't do was use my embossing buddy, which is what I should have done. And look what's happened. Oh dear, I'm going to have to do this all over again. Let me think. So because it was still wet from the water, I should have dried it. This is good to make mistakes, because we all make mistakes. You can see the embossing powder hasn't gone just on the trees, because it was wet all over, so it's gone all over. So that's interesting. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to experiment with this, and I'm going to brush off all of the embossing powder. And I'm going to dry this with a heat tool. I've never done this before, so I have no idea whether it's going to work. So I'm hoping that that is dry enough. Now, if this doesn't work, I'm just going to have to ink up another piece of cardstock. Hey-ho. So I'm going to get my embossing buddy, which is very important, which I should have used before. So that should be dry now, and I put my embossing buddy over. The interesting thing is I've already stamped the tree, so this is going to be very interesting to see what they come out like second time round. So this could be a complete forest instead of a line of trees, but we shall see. I can still see the trees a bit, so I wonder if I can match them up. That would be really clever. I'll see what happens. So I'm just going to go for it anyway. Give it a good pressure. Hope that I have dried it enough. Here's hoping. Time will tell. That's better. Not perfect, but it's better. That's okay. Yeah, I think that'll do. Okay, so that worked. So there you go, girls. There's a tip if you forget to dry your cardstock off properly. You can always have a go with that. So I'm just going to grab my heat tool. Excuse me while I just... Silver sounds great. Thanks, Anne. Yeah, I'm glad you agree. Whoops, just got a light line there I want to get rid of. So I'll just get rid of that. And just heat this up. So see if you can see it changing colour. Oh, look at that. Gorgeous. Absolutely gorgeous changing colour. Oh, it's like magic painting. I love it when that happens. So there we are. Lovely. Can you see that? Yeah, now you can see it. Okay, lovely silver trees. Okay, so I'll make sure I come over here a little bit. So I'm going to put the top on my embossing powder so it doesn't go all over the place. So this time I'm going to take a greeting, but I think that I'm actually going to take this greeting from the For Unto Us stamp set. This says For Unto Us a Child is Born. So I'm going to do that in black memento. I could do it in silver, but I want a bit of a contrast, so I'm just going to do it in the... I'm just going to check it out first because it's a new stamp and it looks okay to me. But just be sure it hasn't got extra on the top there. And just make sure I've got it straight, which is why I put the sticker on it. And I'm just going to put that on there like that. Great. And that's reasonably straight, so I'm happy with that. So now just another little trick up my sleeve, which I discovered while doing the other cards, is this is a piece of designer series paper from the Touches of Texture. But I didn't want to actually... I didn't think, well, personally, I don't think that goes. So what I'm going to do is transform this by putting ink on it. Hi, Steph. Good to see you again. I'm doing a different technique today with the Curvy Christmas stamp set. Just quickly show you because you missed the beginning. We're doing cards like this today using our ink pads and using our brushes, which are coming out in January. To do this technique so that we're colouring the background for the Curvy Christmas trees with ink pads and these blending brushes instead of using the pigment sprinkles. So this is what we've got basically. So now we're going to colour the designer series paper. So I just got to decide what colour I want it and what background I want to put it on. So I could try, actually, I might just start with the Magenta Madness, which is absolutely gorgeous, and see what it looks like, because I can always go darker, but I can't go lighter. So let's see what happens here. And I'm going to go back to what was suggested to me to do it on this mat, but I just need to dry a bit there, which is a little bit damp. So I'll just grab, I told you I'd need lots of kitchen towel. This is my third piece so far, so I'm very glad I had the whole roll, so I'm not rushing backwards and forwards from the kitchen. So, right, here we are. So I'm going to now start off and come on, and we're going to see how this inking of the designer series paper changes the whole look of it. So I don't need to do the centre of it, and I can pick up ink from the mat, which was what was suggested to me. Whoops, as this goes up in the air. And so if I don't think this is dark enough, then I can apply some Gorgeous Grape. Oh, I was trying sponges this morning. Well, it is lovely, the Magenta Madness. It's one of our new in colours and it's absolutely fabulous. These blending brushes, which are coming out in January, are really nice for applying ink smoothly as well. So that's how far I've got with the Magenta Madness. So I'm just going to check it out. So I've got a few choices here of background card, and I haven't cut that quite short enough, but I'll do that before I stick it on. So that, or this is Melon Mambo. That's obviously not right. And this is Magenta Madness cardstock. So if I'm going to put it on there, I'll have to use Gorgeous Grape. If I'm going to put it there, I'll probably get away with the Magenta Madness. But do you know what? I think I want it darker. So I'm going to put away my Magenta Madness. Any suggestions? Welcome, if anybody. Hi, Vivi. Good to see you too. Anybody else? Okay, right. So now I'm going to pick up my blending brush for the Gorgeous Grape, and I'm going to go for some Gorgeous Grape because I want this a bit darker, I've decided. So this shows you that you can do light to dark, but obviously I can't remove it to do dark to light. So this is a new idea, inking up your designer series paper to have it as a background. If you didn't want the wood, which was the colour of it, sort of brown, then you just apply some purple ink and make it purple, or blue ink and make it blue, and so on and so forth. So there we go. I'm happier with that. So I'm just going to put this away. So I think I will probably use, I'm going to take my glove off at this point. So that I'm just going to need to cut this down a little bit. Let's get my trimmer. So let's see, oh yeah, it is a bit big at the moment. I want it 5.5 really, so which side do I want to chop off? Probably this side, so just do that and take that off, and that's the right size. So that's going to go on like that, and that's going to go on like that, and because it's silver, I'm doing a Blue Peter here, I've got a silver frame ready cut out. That's going to go on like that, and then that'll stand out. And I think I prefer that. That's a bit dull. And this is Melon Mambo. So Melon Mambo actually is okay. But you can see the pink is really Magenta Madness. So, right, so I'm going to use my Tombow to stick the designer series paper down. Just a little bit, not very much. That's enough to be able to stick it down. Stick that down. Oh, what I haven't done is clean off this to get rid of the purple, because I'm going to get purple marks all over my card if I don't clean this off. Do you know what I'll do? I'll just turn it over, and then I've got the clean side. Oh, I haven't got purple marks on my card. That's good. Right, now I'm going to take the silver and just put a little bit of, can you see that? I'm just going to put a little bit of silver, bit of glue on the silver, just a little inkling, tiny bit like that, and then stick it on like that. And let's hope it'll stay. I'm a bit mean with my Tombow. I don't put as much on as I probably should, but it's pretty forgiving stuff. It's got wiggle room, as we call it in the trade. So that's my silver frame. That's using the rectangle stitched frames, and then that's going to be on there like that. Now if I wanted to, I could have it on dimensionals, but no, do you know what? I don't want to. So I'm just going to put a bit more Tombow this time, because it's got to stick to the metallic cardstock, which I think will need a bit more Tombow. Put that on like that. That should be straight. And then I can always turn it over and just give it a good press like that, and hold it down just for a few seconds to make sure it's stuck down, and then turn it over, and there we go, you've got your silver card. Well, silver embossed I should say, but how different does that look to that, where we've got black memento and we've got gold embossing there? And then here we've got just black. This is too dark, I think. I think I need this to be in silver, or I need to colour the trees in silver. I just feel that's too dark. But do you see I coloured the background designer series paper here? It's Wood Effect from Touches of Texture, I think it's called. I can't remember. Anyway, so I've coloured that with blue ink, and this one is from Artistry Blooms designer series paper, and this was quite purple, but I put the cherry cobbler ink over so it goes sort of dark red. So this is an interesting technique to actually colour your designer series paper to match the project that you're doing. And this one, the Wood Effect designer series paper, I coloured, do you remember, with Magenta Madness and then with Gorgeous Grape, so it's come out like this. So yeah, you don't need much Tombow, Anne, you're absolutely right. So those are the 3 cards, and this is a tag. So I got the original idea of using, I mean, obviously this idea has been around for ages, but Julie Kettlewell did a really nice video in the darker colours really, and she did a really pretty tag similar to that. The other interesting thing is the difference between using water, which comes out like that, or Wink of Stella, that you just get thinner but glittery sort of specks of water. And so you have a choice really. This one, I think I used a Wink of Stella that had some I put some champagne glimmer as well in, I think, to make it slightly a stronger glitter effect. So that's a very quick and easy tag, which I've got some Magenta Madness ink on now, but there you go. So I hope you have fun with this stamp set. It's really fabulous stamp set. I just love the stars and the foliage you could do things with, and I love the sentiments. May your days be merry and bright, thinking of you at Christmas, and Merry Christmas. So there we go. So that's given you some more ideas for doing inking backgrounds using our ink pads. Again, I think the shimmer cardstock is better even than the Whisper White. Thick Whisper White might be okay. That's one with pigment sprinkles. There's another one here with pigment sprinkles. Then you've got this one with pigment sprinkles. And then you've got this one which is on vellum. So this is our ink pads on vellum. So that's Highland Heather and that's Blackberry Bliss. Hope you've enjoyed this video, and hopefully I'll make another one soon. Bye.